G'day all, I'm Weird and welcome to Invasions Explained. Today's video is from my recent explorations into dragon incantations and arcane builds, and that's its own video. But I've chosen it because it relies far more on strategy than on actual skill in gameplay. I've invaded a Twitch streamer, which already means that I'm going to be in for an interesting time. They've got themselves obviously a fairly light equipped build, and it's hurling Giant's Flame with two obvious seals in either hand. You can see that quite clearly. So I know already that this is going to be a glass cannon light roll build. Now, those are extremely hard to catch, and it tells me a lot about exactly what I've invaded. My response here is pretty classic for the dragon incantation build. I jump out and I start dragon breathing from the midair. This isn't just for style points though, because it does two important things against this person. The first is that it denies them a surface from which to explode their Giant's Flame and hit me in the AoE. But secondly, as soon as I'm finished dragon flaming, I simply fall down and I'm out of the combat zone immediately. Obviously, it doesn't go as well as I'd liked, it almost never does, but now I've noticed something very important, and it's the fact that they've gone into this lift chamber here. This is not the first time I've invaded someone who has gone into this lift chamber here, and every single time it has been a massive trap, and you'll see why in just a second. That explosion is a fireball aimed at the interior, and if I had jumped over chasing them without thought, I would currently be falling to my death. They are not, however, the only person who can play this game. Grail's Roar also goes through walls to an absurd degree, but I hit nothing. And this is because of a very important strategy on their part, in the fact that they hurled the fireball while they were descending. They are, in the exact same way that I was with the Dragon Breath, immediately out of the combat situation. I have to go down, of course, there's very little choice otherwise, but going down, I drink my elixir, and I decide I just have to throw out as much damage as possible once I get to the bottom of the lift. This is a mistake. They are ready here immediately with both Sleep Pots and Radahn's Greatsword's weapon art. Combined between these, I would essentially be frame trapped in here if it wasn't for the fact that the initial sleep makes me fall down and immediately exit the animation. This was an extremely lucky thing to happen, as I didn't anticipate this, and if I had been on the ground or in another animation, I would definitely simply be dead through sheer cheese. Fortunately, I can roll out of it, and bail as quickly as I can. Now, there's a warming stone here, which means I should have noticed that in fact this place was somewhere that they had prepared. Unfortunately, I don't notice, and as I'm trying to greet the other invader, we immediately get Giant's Flamed again. This is obviously something that they've done several times before, because this is a very small space where a hit from the Giant's Flame anywhere is almost guaranteed to hit someone if they are within range. It's not something easily kited or walked away from, it's practically impossible to miss. And with Radahn's Greatswords in play here, the entire place is essentially covered in AoE. I noticed this very quickly and I decided, hell no. So in response, I try my own area denial, but unfortunately, the Radahn's Greatswords pull me out of the air. I decide to stay in there and try and burst damage them, but the Radahn's Greatswords are throwing me in stagger every single time, and I can't stay in there without getting Giant's Flamed on the recovery of that. And we see what happens to that invader in the exact same fashion. He decided to stay in there, and he was simply blended to death. I timed myself better this time. I managed to get off the Dragon Breath, and I managed to completely destroy the last part of the other guy hiding in that alcove and spamming the Radahn's Greatswords. Now, however, I am in a bit of a pickle because I'm being aggressed very heavily and I need to heal very desperately. I simply chug in his face for this point. It was the better option than trying to reliably escape on one hit till death. But escape I do, and I think he's going to come and aggress me, so I'm looking over my shoulder, but I hadn't got quite the measure of this guy yet, and lo and behold, he has already bailed backwards up the lift. Not eager to be trapped in another kill box, I decide to take the Phantom Finger up. I know exactly where he's going to be arriving as well, and the loading screen wasn't that long, so I decide to try some of my own sneakiness. He's probably not expecting me to be here so soon, and so I simply Grail's Roar him from behind. Unfortunately, I don't knock him in the right direction, and so he has to retreat. But I am on the aggression now, and a simple back roll is him dead. And of course I jump off behind him for points for style. But that is that invasion explained. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and I'll see you next time.